This is part two of the Meghan Sussex sparkling wine and champagne controversy, and I want to wrap things up and end it nicely because in the first part of the video, I described a bit of background around champagne, around production, around the use of certain words and phrases, and also I described the fact that Meghan hasn't broken any laws. However, there are a couple of questions. So let's start by doing a little bit of a recap, and by me saying that yes, the use of the word champagne, you can only use champagne if the wine is produced in the Champagne region of France, and also you're not allowed to use the word champagne either in the EU, the UK, or even in the US. However, certain brands in the US like Korbel, they had their the word California champagne is used to describe their products because that was grandfathered, because all this the use of champagne, the campaign kind of started, I think, early 2000s or something like that. I can't remember accurately, but I know around the time I was doing my MBA and we were taken to the Champagne region to learn about champagne production methods, etc., etc. I know that the discussions were being had then. This was around 2001, 2002, 2003 kind of time. But anyway, moving on. So this is what matters the most: clarity. Does the wine tell the consumers where it's from? Yes, it does. It tells you it's from Napa Valley. Does it use the word champagne? No, it doesn't. And does it imply that it's French or from Champagne? Not at all. So those are key questions that people have been asking. The label tells you it's a California sparkling wine made in the traditional style, and under US trademark and wine labeling laws, it's completely legal. Now, why the reporter rumors are misguided is because the controversy came from the term méthode champenoise. Some people online assumed that using that phrase meant Meghan was falsely marketing her wine as champagne, but that's a misunderstanding. She was not. In Europe, using the méthode champenoise on a non-champagne bottle will not be allowed. So if you say méthode champenoise and you put it on a bottle and it was in Europe, it will not be allowed. Instead, producers are required to use the phrase méthode traditionnelle. But again, Meghan's bottle is sold in the US and not the EU. And according to As Ever's website, international shipping is not even available at this time. And I don't blame her. This is why people in the UK cannot have nice things, because you're always picking holes. So she's not shipping internationally out of America. And according to European labeling, those rules does not apply to her wine at all because it's not being sold in Europe. In the US, describing the production method this way is not forbidden, and it doesn't equate to calling your wine champagne. Again, remember the phrase Napa Valley Brut. That's what she describes her wine as. Now, just for the sake of clarity, let's talk about what would happen if As Ever sold that wine in the UK or the EU. In that case, yes, the labeling will likely need to change. European authorities would probably not allow the use of méthode champenoise on the label. The wine might need to swap and say méthode traditionnelle or another neutral term. But even then, that's a labeling correction. It's not a scandal or a criminal offense. it happens to plenty of US and Australian wines that are exported to Europe. That's not the case here. The wine is only available domestically in America, and the label follows US rules. So, the final words and final conclusion: no laws were broken. And the bottom line is that Meghan Sussex's As Ever wine is a Napa Valley sparkling brut that's correctly labeled for the US market. It never claims to be champagne. It mentions the production method, which is legally allowed in the US, and clearly states that the wine is of Californian origin. There's no trademark infringement, no false labeling, and no violation of international wine law. So if you saw some useless post claiming that Meghan broke the law, it's just internet noise. Nothing illegal has happened. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that for part 2. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, please, because yeah, again, the trolls, haters, and derangers, they grab hold of a little something that is absolutely nothing, and then they just run wild with it. And you wonder if some people are educated at all. It takes only 5 minutes to do a bit of basic research on the internet, but no, when they are so committed to hating someone, they just run with it with no thoughts, and they know that many people do not see beyond the headlines. But anyway, that's me off my soapbox. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of the Luxpreneur, and for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me.